The old house stood on a hill overlooking the town, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the soul. Rumors whispered of a dark history, of unspeakable things that had occurred within its walls. I, a paranormal investigator named Alex, was drawn to it like a moth to a flickering flame. My mission: to uncover the truth, no matter how terrifying. The first night, I set up my equipment: cameras, audio recorders, EMF meters. The air was heavy, thick with an oppressive silence that seemed to press against my chest. As the clock struck midnight, the temperature plummeted. The EMF meter spiked. A cold breath ghosted across my neck. I spun around, but there was nothing there. Then, a whisper, barely audible, seemed to slither from the shadows. "Leave." The second night, the activity intensified. Doors slammed shut on their own. Objects flew across the room. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, laced with malice. I captured it all on camera, my heart pounding in my chest. But it wasn't the physical phenomena that truly frightened me. It was the feeling that I was being watched, studied, dissected. Something ancient and malevolent had taken notice of me, and it didn't want me there. Rule number 1: never speak its name aloud. The third night, I broke that rule. Curiosity, or perhaps a morbid fascination, had consumed me. I stood in the center of the living room, the air crackling with static electricity, and whispered the name I had found in an old diary: Malphas. The house seemed to shudder. The lights flickered violently, and then a voice, booming and guttural, echoed through the halls. "You should not have done that." I fled the house, not daring to look back. But I knew it was too late. Malphas was coming for me. 2 days later, I started seeing things out of the corner of my eye. Shadows that moved on their own. Faces that appeared and disappeared in mirrors. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, stress, exhaustion. But I knew the truth. Malphas was hunting me. I consulted with other paranormal experts, desperate for help. They told me stories of Malphas, of its insatiable hunger for souls, of its ability to manipulate reality. They warned me that it would stop at nothing to claim me. The only way to survive, they said, was to appease it. But how? What did it want? I soon found out. It wanted my fear. It fed on it, grew stronger with each terrified thought, each sleepless night. The more afraid I became, the closer it got. One night, I woke up to find it standing at the foot of my bed, its eyes burning like coals. It reached out a skeletal hand, its touch like ice. I screamed, but no sound came out. It was inside my head, consuming my thoughts, twisting my fears into grotesque realities. That was just the beginning. Malphas didn't kill me. It did something far worse. It trapped me in a perpetual nightmare, a never-ending cycle of terror. I'm still here, trapped in this waking hell, reliving my worst fears over and over again. The house on the hill is still there too, waiting for its next victim. The whispers of Malphas echo through its halls, growing louder with each passing day. And somewhere, in the depths of my tormented mind, I know that it's watching me, savoring my suffering. The feeling of being watched never ceases. You can feel it, right? I try to forget about it, but memories rush back. I remember her laughter, bright and genuine, echoing through the sunlit park. Sarah, my best friend, my confidant, the one person who always understood me. Then came the accident. A drunk driver, a blind curve, a life extinguished in an instant. The pain was unbearable. I spent weeks in a fog of grief, unable to eat, sleep, or even function. Then, one night, I had a dream. Sarah was standing before me, smiling, reaching out her hand. "Come with me," she said. "It's beautiful here." I wanted to go with her, to escape the pain, to be reunited with my friend. But something held me back. A sense of unease, a feeling that something wasn't right. I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. The next night, the dream returned. Sarah was more insistent this time, her smile strained, her eyes pleading. "Why won't you come with me?" she asked. "Don't you love me anymore?" I felt a pang of guilt. Maybe I was being selfish, clinging to life when Sarah was waiting for me. But the unease persisted. I decided to do some research. I scoured the internet, looking for answers. I came across stories of dream walkers, of entities that could enter people's dreams and manipulate them. They often appeared as loved ones who had passed away, luring the dreamer into the afterlife. I realized with horror that Sarah wasn't Sarah at all. It was something else, something sinister, using her image to try to trick me. The third night, the dream was different. The park was dark and desolate, the trees twisted and gnarled. Sarah's face was contorted in anger, her eyes burning with hatred. "You betrayed me," she hissed. "You will pay for this." I woke up screaming. The room was cold, the air thick with dread. I knew it wasn't over. The entity wouldn't give up so easily. I started taking precautions. I smudged my house with sage, placed protective crystals around my bed, and recited prayers before going to sleep. But nothing seemed to work. The nightmares continued, growing more intense each night. The entity was relentless, chipping away at my sanity, trying to break my will. Until, one night, I realized how to beat her. Rule number 1. Never tell anyone your fear. I stopped being afraid. I confronted the entity in my dreams, refusing to cower, refusing to give in. I told it that it had no power over me, that I would not let it control my life. And slowly, gradually, it began to weaken. The nightmares faded, the fear subsided, and the entity disappeared. I never saw Sarah in my dreams again, but I learned a valuable lesson, that even in the darkest of times, we have the power to overcome our fears and reclaim our lives. Last night, I got a call from that address, 3 years after I moved out, and it just said, "Come back." The voice was distorted, almost robotic, but there was something familiar about it. A cold dread washed over me. It couldn't be, could it? I hung up, my hand trembling. I tried to dismiss it as a prank, a wrong number. But the seed of doubt had been planted, and it began to sprout, sending tendrils of fear through my mind. I paced the floor, my thoughts racing. Who would call me after all this time? And why? The house, it was calling me back. But why? I had to know. I couldn't live with the uncertainty, the nagging feeling that something terrible was about to happen. I decided to do some research. I spent hours poring over old articles, historical records, anything I could find about the house and its history. The more I learned, the more disturbed I became. The house had been the site of numerous tragedies over the years. Suicides, murders, unexplained disappearances. It was as if the house itself was cursed, a magnet for darkness and despair. And then I found it, a reference to a ritual, a summoning ceremony performed by a group of occultists in the late 1800s. They had attempted to invoke a powerful entity, a being of immense power and malevolence. The ritual had gone wrong, horribly wrong. The entity had broken free, consuming the occultists and turning the house into its prison, its hunting ground. And its name, Malphas. The name sent a shiver down my spine. It was the same name I had spoken aloud in the house, the name that had unleashed the nightmare that still haunted me to this day. I realized then that the call wasn't a prank. It was an invitation, a summons. Malphas wanted me back in the house. It wanted to finish what it had started. I knew I couldn't go back. It was a death trap, a place of unimaginable horror. But I also knew that I couldn't ignore the call. Malphas wouldn't let me. It would keep tormenting me, chipping away at my sanity, until I had no choice but to return. So, I made a decision. I would go back to the house. But this time, I wouldn't be a victim. I would be prepared. I would arm myself with knowledge, with faith, with anything that could help me fight against the darkness. I spent days studying ancient texts, consulting with experts in demonology, learning everything I could about Malphas and its weaknesses. I discovered that Malphas was vulnerable to certain symbols, certain prayers, certain rituals. I gathered these tools, preparing myself for the ultimate confrontation. The night I returned to the house, the air was thick with anticipation. The sky was dark, the moon hidden behind a veil of clouds. The house loomed before me, its windows glowing with an eerie light. I took a deep breath and stepped inside. The house was exactly as I remembered it, cold, silent, and filled with an oppressive sense of dread. I could feel Malphas' presence, watching me, waiting for me. I began to perform the rituals I had learned, chanting the prayers, drawing the symbols. The house seemed to resist, the air crackling with energy. The temperature plummeted, and the shadows danced around me. And then, Malthus appeared. It was even more terrifying than I remembered. Its eyes burned with hatred, its skeletal hand reaching out to claim me. But this time I was ready. I held up the symbols, recited the prayers, and confronted Malthus with all my might. The battle was long and arduous, a struggle between good and evil. But in the end, I prevailed. Malthus shrieked in agony as it was banished back to the darkness from whence it came. The house fell silent, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. I had finally defeated Malthus, freeing myself from its torment. But I knew that the battle wasn't truly over. Malthus was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for another opportunity to strike. And I would be ready. I would continue to fight against the darkness, to protect the innocent from its grasp. For I am Alex, the paranormal investigator, and I will not rest until evil is vanquished from this world. The victory felt hollow, a temporary reprieve in a war without end. I tried to rebuild my life, to find some semblance of normalcy. I moved to a new city, got a new job, and tried to forget about the house, about Malthus, about the horrors I had witnessed. But the memories lingered, like phantom pains from a lost limb. I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder, expecting to see those burning eyes staring back at me. I started having nightmares again, vivid and disturbing dreams of the house, of Malthus, of the souls trapped within its walls. I would wake up screaming, my heart pounding, drenched in sweat. I knew that Malthus wasn't truly gone. It was merely dormant, waiting for its chance to return. And I knew that I couldn't run from it forever. It would eventually find me, no matter where I went, no matter what I did. So, I decided to confront my fears, to embrace my destiny as a paranormal investigator. I started researching other haunted locations, other entities, other dark secrets hidden beneath the surface of the world. I traveled to abandoned asylums, ancient burial grounds, and forgotten battlefields, seeking out the truth, no matter how terrifying. I encountered other paranormal investigators, some who were driven by a thirst for knowledge, others by a desire to help those who were suffering. I learned from them, honing my skills, expanding my knowledge, preparing myself for the next battle against the forces of darkness. I discovered that Malthus was just one of many powerful entities that roamed the earth, each with its own unique abilities and weaknesses. Some were malevolent, seeking to corrupt and destroy. Others were neutral, simply existing, their intentions unknown. And some were even benevolent, offering guidance and protection to those who were worthy. But I knew that even the benevolent entities could be dangerous, their power immense, their motives often inscrutable. I learned to approach each encounter with caution, with respect, and with a healthy dose of skepticism. I never forgot the lessons I had learned from my experience with Malthus, the importance of knowledge, the power of faith, and the need to never give in to fear. As I continued my investigations, I began to see patterns, connections between the different haunted locations and entities I encountered. I realized that there was a larger game at play, a cosmic struggle between good and evil, between light and darkness. And I was just a small piece in that game, a pawn in a battle that had been raging for centuries. But I refused to be just a pawn. I would use my knowledge, my skills, and my courage to make a difference, to fight against the darkness and protect the innocent. I knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, filled with danger and uncertainty. But I was ready. For I am Alex, the paranormal investigator, and I will not rest until evil is vanquished from this world. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on my shoulders. Each case I took, each investigation I undertook, was a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beneath the surface of reality. The whispers of the entities, the chilling drafts, the unexplained phenomena, they were all testaments to the unseen world that coexisted with our own. I began to document my experiences, meticulously recording every detail, every observation, every chilling encounter. I wanted to create a record, a testament to the existence of the paranormal, a warning to those who dare to venture into the unknown. I knew that many would dismiss my findings as mere superstition, as the product of an overactive imagination. But I also knew that there were those who were open to the possibility, those who had experienced the unexplained firsthand. And it was for them that I wrote, for them that I continued my investigations. I wanted to provide them with answers, with hope, with the knowledge that they were not alone in their experiences. The burden of knowledge was heavy, but I carried it willingly. For I knew that with knowledge came power, the power to understand, to protect, and to fight against the darkness. I delved deeper into the occult, studying ancient texts, deciphering cryptic symbols, and seeking out the wisdom of those who had come before me. I learned about the different types of entities, their origins, their powers, and their weaknesses. I discovered that some entities were bound to specific locations, trapped within the walls of haunted houses or the confines of ancient burial grounds. Others were free to roam the earth, influencing events, manipulating people, and sowing chaos wherever they went. I learned about the rituals and practices that could be used to protect oneself from these entities, the prayers and incantations that could ward off evil, the symbols and talismans that could provide a shield against the darkness. But I also learned that these protections were not foolproof, that the entities were often cunning and resourceful, and that they could find ways to circumvent even the most powerful defenses. The key, I realized, was to be prepared, to be vigilant, and to never underestimate the power of the darkness. As I continued my investigations, I began to attract attention. Some were drawn to me by my reputation, seeking my help in dealing with their own paranormal experiences. Others were skeptical, determined to debunk my findings and expose me as a fraud. And still others were drawn to me by something darker, something sinister, something that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I received strange phone calls, cryptic emails, and unsettling letters. I was followed in the streets, watched from the shadows, and haunted by the feeling that I was being observed. I knew that I was walking a dangerous path, that I was treading on ground that was best left undisturbed. But I couldn't turn back. I had seen too much, experienced too much, and learned too much to simply walk away. I was driven by a sense of purpose, a sense of responsibility, a sense that I was meant to be doing this, that I was meant to be fighting against the darkness. And so, I continued my investigations, undeterred by the risks, unburdened by the doubts, and unwavering in my commitment to protect the innocent. 4. I am Alex, the paranormal investigator, and I will not rest until evil is vanquished from this world.